Our first speaker, Carlos J. Malave, who is a self-published author of Translating Your Success and also the CEO and founder of Translating Success LLC. And he'll be here today just talking about the Mamba mentality. So let's give it up for him.
So to begin, ever since I could remember, I've been obsessed with being the best version of myself. In fact, my father, when I was about 6 years old, told me my only job was to be better than him. So that became my main focus. And I took pride in that. So did he. I watched, I studied, and I became a student to the process of learning. I saw what alcohol did to my father and how it controlled him. So at a very young age, I made the decision, the conscious decision, not to drink. I noticed that my father struggled with expressing his emotions and feelings with others. So I made it my obligation to be able to articulate mine and show mine on a daily basis. And most importantly, I saw that my father was a people pleaser and he did for others more than he did for himself, but he didn't take care of the things that he needed for himself. So I made it my job to believe in myself and in my convictions and not worry about what anybody thinks no matter what. I worked my whole life to be better than my father and to become the man that we both, my father and I, aspired to be. And no matter what I was doing, I can always look back and have him to encourage me along the way. But on January 10th, 2019, my measuring stick, my father, committed suicide. And it changed everything for me. And still, to this day, it's the hardest moment that I've ever had to deal with in my entire life. You see, people lose their parents all the time, but not like this. My father took his life because he was tired. He was tired of the trauma that was put on him, both physically and psychologically over the years. He was tired of the lies he had to tell himself and keep up with. He was tired of the work that he had to continue to do over the time. This is, and the more that he did not address or confront his trauma, the more the stress built over the years. This is why I do what I do. After leaving KIPP Houston High School as a restorative justice coordinator and teaching for over 8 years, I created my own restorative justice consulting company and developed my own restorative power curriculum to ensure that this doesn't happen. What happened to my father doesn't happen to another. You see, Black and Latinos make up 29% of the public school population in the United States. Yet 70% of in-school arrests are Black and Latino students. Let me say that again. We make up 29% of the school population in public schools. Yet we make up 70% of in-school arrests. That's a problem, a huge one. And in fact, 32% of youth in juvenile detention centers are students of special needs. We need to do something different. And I took it upon myself to do so. Restorative power is the ability to live in a way that allows us to identify ourselves to the root. For years, restorative practices have been used in schools as a replacement to discipline. And I've noticed that going to conferences, working in schools from New York to Texas, and traveling as I speak at different colleges and high schools, I've seen how the work was used just as a replacement. And I'm here to change the narrative of that. My mission with my consulting business and my curriculum is to help change the lives and make it a lifestyle, not just a practice. It is something that we all can use in and out of our school situations. See, my father was a product of the school to prison pipeline. My mission is to dismantle that and also replace it with a new one. Mamba mentality is a constant quest to be the best version of yourself. But you have to understand that you will go through some experiences that only you can go through. And until you start owning those experiences and using it to your advantage and making it a part of you and using that as a motivation to move forward, then and only then you will start to become the person you were meant to be. A couple weeks after my father passed, my wife presented a question that would change my life forever. As we were getting ready for bed, she looked at me and she said, "You worked your whole life to be better than your father. Now that he's gone, who are you?" I couldn't answer that question. And it hit home. Right then in that moment, I realized that I had work to do. The very next day, I was in therapy. See, it's a long road, but just know that I'm here with you, and I will continue to be here with you until my last day on this earth. So just as I say these words to motivate you and push you to go through what you got to go through, especially with this pandemic and everything that's happening with social justice issues in this world, you're going to go through things that only you can go through. Use it and make it a part of your story and continue to build off of it because it's making you you. I wanted to do something special, something I never did before. So in 2017, I wrote my first book, Translating Your Success. You can find it on my website, cjmotivation.com, or you could just go to Amazon, type in my name or the title of the book. So with the book, I dedicated it to my family, my mother, my father, my wife, my daughter, who's 6 now. And I just started writing my second book, calling it Restorative Power. And I wanted to read to you guys a never heard, never seen before excerpt of the book. I'm opening it with a letter to my father. The last letter to my father, I called it. So I want to read that to you guys before I ended it. Dear Pop, with no proper training or role models to follow, you were able to scope yourself into a reputable man and father for me.
I didn't change.
Although your techniques may have been a bit wacko at times, I'm grateful that you always stayed on my behind. You protected me from the world and allowed me to dream. You taught me to stand for what I believe. Despite you being tough on me, you always loved on me. I appreciate how you were there for me. You once told me that I was the man that you wished to be, but the truth is that I was just a reflection of the light that you constantly shone on me. Your compassion, your love, vulnerability, and honesty were all the things that constructed me. And yes, you had your flaws, but failure wasn't what I saw. Rather, it was your effort, commitment to growth, that inspired me to consistently grow. I just want you to know, because of you, you made your son extremely powerful. Man, I'm so freaking proud of you. Thank you for being you. I am the man I am because of you. I will always love you. Sincerely yours, your firstborn, Khalito. Thank you.